Welcome to the Project Cedar training video. The purpose of this training video is to reiterate all the principles discussed at the recent training meetings around the country. We will be looking at what Project Cedar is, understanding what the installation program looks like, introducing all the kit of parts and reviewing exactly how to create each shipper type. As this slide suggests, Project Cedar is all about bringing change at the checkouts by assembling a number of cardboard shippers and using them to replace existing versions in the checkout wells in Sainsburys main stores. The concept is to standardise the look and feel at the checkout and make ready this as a launch pad for Sainsburys Mobile. A recent survey in 590 of Sainsburys main estate stores established there are 1, 2 and 3-piece versions of checkout wells, all varying in width, of which 11 types are common, and the numbered types are used to differentiate what is being installed in each store. These 11 types apply to 490 of the stores, whilst the remainder need a bespoke solution, not included in this part of the programme, although a mini shipper has been designed for a further 38 stores at the back of the programme. The example checkout well shown here is a 1-piece small type 4. To accommodate the various types of checkout well sizes and their constructions, in other words the 1, 2 or 3-piece checkouts, 4 separate shippers have been designed. The 3 in Sainsbury's orange are called Marketing, Energy and Finance, and the 4th in a magenta colour caters for the mobile element of the checkout and is produced in 3 different widths with a 4, 6 or 8 pocket version. Also shown here is a blocker to fill out the space depending on the well size and type. This visual representation shows how the 4 different types of shipper come together to make up a type 7. This fits into a 2-piece large checkout well. Now, if you remember this tip throughout the program, that you need to build a marketing shipper and a finance shipper for every checkout, and then check what size of the mobile shippers you require, then the only other thing you need to determine is whether the checkout type warrants an energy shipper or not. Now, most of you will be familiar with the notion that many checkouts in Sainsburys are doubles. The belt moves in front of you on your left side as you approach or on the right side as you approach, and here it is represented as side A or side B. The mainstay of the installation is that the first shipper you should see on either side is the mobile, followed then by the finance, then the energy, that is if there is one, and finally the marketing shipper, which will be closest to the checkout operator. To make sure you have installed this correctly, you should be able to see the white mobile text printed on the first shipper you see as you enter with your trolley or basket. You should treat this installation program as a giant production line of building shipper carcasses, attaching plastic pockets, removing redundant leaflets, removing existing redundant shippers, whether they're made of plastic, metal or cardboard, installing newly built shippers to a layout, and decanting and recanting leaflets and header inserts. A bulk load of your kit of parts has been sent to you in the following manner. 25 of all components for each shipper have been packed in one box, and all the plastic pockets for those 25 shippers in another box. Labels have been attached to show the quantity and assume that at least one box of each type will be short to reflect the total quantities you require for your schedule. Each box will contain a jiffy bag of other parts such as graphic header inserts or Viking screws. Other parts include energy leaflets, there are 3 different types packed in 100 in a bundle, and nectar leaflets. These have been packed store specific with the quantity supplied and labelled uniquely to that store. Each sign-off will describe all the parts required for the allocation of types for each store. So what does the program look like? Well, a schedule has been created and published on the Sainsburys ATC Clash checking system, which is designed to allow store managers to understand when you are scheduled to visit so they can plan activities around your being there. Other resources are dependent on your visit, so any changes should be agreed with your line manager before assuming it can be changed. The programme starts for most on either the 10th or 14th of July, so do check your schedule, and concludes no later than the 23rd of July, ready for the big launch on the 24th. Access has been agreed with Sainsburys from 4 p.m. each day, but should be agreed locally, especially for stores who close at 8 p.m. and have no night shift, and Sundays where trading law dictates closure at 4 or 5 p.m. The only real way to organise this is to contact the store on your day of arrival and agree what will happen. Ask for the commercial manager and checkout manager. This can be recorded on your sign-off. Tools and PPE you will need. Now, as you are working in both front and back of house, you should stand out at all times by wearing the Sainsburys high-vis vest supplied with your kit of parts. Safety footwear should be worn as a matter of course. Now, I recommend the use of barrier tape so you can cordon off the working area, whether that be in the storeroom or around the checkouts not in use. A tape measure is required to check the width of checkouts so that the type numbers can be verified on the sign-off. A camera is essential to capture photographs of each updated checkout. And finally, cleaning costs are useful to mop up any swarf from the cardboard and plastic left on the conveyor belt. Your job pack consists of a sign-off for each store and an A3 checkout list. The What Good Looks Like guide consists of the assembly guide for each shipper type, the checkout visuals by type, the checkout space, a visual guide, and the checkout content by item. So, to the actual installation. On arrival at site, sign in as a Sainsburys colleague in the visitors book. Ask for the checkout manager or duty manager, and then when you meet him or her, agree your planned course of action, which should look something like this. You should start with identifying which checkouts need updating and mark these on the A3 checkout list. Then you want to segregate a working area which could be on the shop floor or stockroom. You want to start to build shippers and load them onto cages. You need to remove existing shippers and contents from checkout wells. Then lay out the new shippers into the wells with pockets and inserts. Face up old and new leaflets, and then remove the redundant items, separating plastic, metal and cardboard into the cages for recycling. Using the checkout space guide, that is both sides A and B, establish from the colour coding what action is required for each shipper. The guide is as follows. Green are for existing items you should decant from the old shipper to new. Blue are new items you should install which will have been supplied in your kit of parts. And orange are items Sainsburys will install. So, starting with the mobile shipper, trim to fit if required the mobile teaser insert. Leave the plastic pockets empty for Sainsburys to install at the launch date. Then move on to the finance shipper. Insert the Sainsburys Bank header insert. Move the 10 leaflets from the old shipper to the new one using the locations provided on the planogram. If there is an energy shipper, insert the energy header insert, then collate 25 of each of the 3 different leaflets and face up each pocket from top to bottom as sun, square and bulb. Finally, face up magazines in the marketing shipper and insert 3 nectar leaflets, these from the bulk box supplied, in each of the 6 pockets. If any remain, hand them over to the duty manager. When all is complete, photograph the checkout with a checkout number if possible to show that it complies. Upon completion of the update, separate all old redundant plastics, cardboard and metal into 3 separate cages. Wheel them off the shop floor and advise the manager to follow the recycling brief supplied in the comms document. Finally, at the end of each visit to store, you should notify plan to install of the status of the job. This includes how many checkouts have been completed, whether all the activity is complete, any issues, and recommended course of further action if necessary, and whether you have any stock shortages. You should notify your supervisor of this or direct to John Roberts in the Plan to Install office. But you must, before going to bed, report the job on Asset Tracker and upload your photographs.